done trimming out the small blocks. Congratulations! Hey, this is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and this is the Moda Midnight Moon Quilt Along. We are on week 20 of this. We only have 2 more weeks to go where we're trimming out the medium blocks and we're trimming out the small blocks. And then the last week, we actually put the quilt top together. So, it's just getting there. Can you even believe it? So this is the last week we're doing small blocks. And this one was pretty easy with these little flying geese down here. I show you how I put it together, how I decided to put it together as opposed to the pattern. It's really not that much different, but it is how I do it. I chose the polka dot, cream polka dot background and the dark polka dot background. And from here on out, it's going to be this one because that's all I have left. I have utilized these 2 backgrounds already. So, but I have an awful lot of this fabric left, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do with some Halloween fabric. I'm just so excited. It's so cool. I'm going to walk you through how I do these blocks. And you can see that I have last week's here, and this is the bonus block for last week. If you missed it, this is a free pattern. You can go check out that video, which I'll link right now above, and I'll put a link below. And you can grab that block and do it. So there were 4 bonus blocks this time, and they were all really cute. So if you are new here, or you've just kind of been watching, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You can watch me do the last couple of trimmings and then put this beautiful quilt together. It is going to be so cool. I have links to the fabric down below. It's not too late to get started either. I have the pattern and the fabrics down below, and you can still do this quilt. You can either do it for this year or next year. It's just, it was a quilt along where we did stuff once a week, but it's still there and still available. So yeah, check out the links below and you can grab it. But anyway, I had a lot of fun doing this block, if you can't tell. And I had a lot of fun making this video, so let's get started. All right, we're on week 20. And after that, we only have 3 more weeks, so yay, we are getting so close. We are working still with the small blocks. I did get 4 of these done, so you can see what they look like. And this is called the Small Flying Geese Framed Block, I believe is what it's called. Yep. So we're just going to do these flying geese here, add some background trims to it, and then we get this beautiful block. And I chose the black polka dot background for these and the cream colored polka dot background. So I pretty much have, pretty much have just this background left to do. So my medium and large blocks are all going to be in this background. So, ooh, I like that block. That's pretty. I like all these blocks. It's so nice to bring these back out and revisit them again, isn't it? So that's basically what we're going to do. I left out 2 of everything, so you're going to need 3 of each background for piece D, which is right here. And then you're going to need 6 of each background for E, which is this top and bottom. 3 for A and B of each background, which is on either side of the block. And then 6 of each of these for the flying geese, and 18 of each of your backgrounds for the flying geese also. So not too hard. I ended up going with the cats, the black, orange, and gray of the cats for this one, and then the skulls, the black, orange, and gray for the polka dot background. So I kind of mixed it up. And then these are the 2 blocks I have left. So it's pretty simple. You want to mark all your C's with a diagonal so we can start working on the flying goose block. Does anyone else call it a flying goose? I don't feel like I hear that very often. So, let's see. The cats go with the cream. Get these separated. So with the Flying Geese blocks, we want to start with putting one of our C squares onto G, which is the background for the Flying Geese, in either the left or right corner. Doesn't matter where you start. And we've done plenty of Flying Geese, but if you're new here, we're going to sew along this line right here, trim 1/4 inch, and then iron towards the corner. So I'm just going to chain piece all of mine. So let me get my polka dot backgrounds. And put these on here and we'll get to sewing. You always want to set it up so you're cutting off the corner. So this is going to be the top of my Flying Goose, and I'm going to cut off these 2 corners. So that's how you set it up. So let's get to sewing. Chain piecing. Okay, I'm over here at my machine and I'm going to chain piece the start of my Flying Geese, and I'm going to sew right along this line. Now we want to trim 1/4 inch from our seam. Now we are going to iron towards the corner. And we are ready to add the other side. It's going to be exactly the same thing. Make sure we're cutting off that top corner just like we did over here, and get it ready to sew. Oops. We're here to do the other half of our Flying Goose, and we're going to sew along the line here, just like we did on the first one. Trim along that seam we just made, 1/4 inch from it. Iron towards that other corner. We have got our Flying Geese ready to go. Just make sure if you need to trim them up, you do that. I think this one needs to be trimmed up. So now we can start putting together our Flying Goose row. So let me get my pieces together. Here's my cream. And here's my polka dots. So we just want to put them so they're all pointing together the same way. I'm doing gray, orange, black. That's how I'm doing it. And we are going to sew these together and iron these seams open. So just match up these flying geese seams the best you can, and then sew right down that edge and then iron it open. Okay, the last thing we want to do on this row is take our F piece, sorry, and looks like I have one too many of those. And we're going to lay our flying geese in front of us so that they're pointing away from us on the left-hand side. And then we're just going to put these right sides together, sew 1/4 inch, and we are ironing towards this solid patch. Iron towards that patch. So there is our flying goose row. So I'm going to set this aside for now, and I'm going to grab my small blocks. And I'm going to grab my A and B pieces. And I'm going to put my polka dot with this one. And my cream with this one. Set that aside for now. So the polka dot, you know, if you have an up and down to your block, I don't know if you do, but I kind of do with my cats. The B is going to go on the left. The A is going to go on the right. So we're going to get these sewn on, right sides together, 1/4 inch, and we're going to iron towards the A and B pieces. We're going to do that on both of these. So B goes to the left, and A goes to the right. Oh, this is hard to see what's up and down. There we go. So let's get these sewn on and iron towards the A and B pieces. Okay, we want to iron towards the A and B patches. Let's turn it back over so B's on this side, A's on this side. So I am going to take my D, and this is like the top of the block here, I guess, if you want to call it the top. I'm calling it the top for this purpose. And our D is going to go along the top. We are going to get this sewn on at 1/4 inch, and we're going to iron towards this D piece. So I'm over here at my machine, I'm putting on the D piece, and I'm going to sew with my block side up because the D piece is just a tad longer. So if I sew with the shorter side up, it'll kind of push it along and should make it work out in the end. Sometimes with these heavier seams, got to give it a little bit of tug from the back. Okay, there's my first D. This D fits good, so I'm just going to be sewing it from the top here with the D strip on the top. Okay, and we have our D strip on, and we are going to iron towards the D strip. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside because the E strip, what we're going to basically do here is it's going to go E on the bottom, then our flying goose, and then another E. So I'm gonna sew my E's on to my flying goose to kind of get it stabilized here. And then sew this unit onto my block. So let's put these on. And we're gonna be ironing towards these E pieces. So I'm gonna get these on and get them sewn. I'm gonna do both. Come back, iron towards this E, and then add the E to the other side. Okay, so I'm over here adding E onto my flying goose unit, flying geese unit. And I'm gonna sew with the flying geese on the top because they're just a little bit shorter than this E. And that should push them a little bit and lengthen out those seams that are in there. But I can also watch it hit the top here and make sure I'm not going to cut too much off. That worked out great. So this second one I'm going to flip over. It fits, but I want to watch where it hits on my point here. Okay, I'm going to get that ironed towards my E. Thing with adding these to your flying geese is it just gives you more chance to iron those seams on the flying geese down, just to help get them flatter. They've had time to cool. Now you're going to iron them again. They should be a little flatter. Okay, now we're just going to flip these over and add the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Sew it on, iron towards that E. Okay, so sandwiching that flying geese unit just makes it a little, it just makes it a little more stable. So we can now add this to the bottom of our block. No seams to match. Pin it in place. Sew it at 1/4 of an inch, and we are going to iron towards this E strip right here that we just put on our flying goose. And then our block is done. Can you believe that? Oh, and you want to have your flying geese pointed up toward your small block. You don't have to. It's just what the pattern says to do. You can do whatever you want. It is your quilt. Okay, I've got my sandwiched flying goose unit right here, and I'm adding it onto the bottom of my small block unit. Okay, we are done. We just need to iron it out. So set that seam and then iron it towards this E strip. Congratulations! We are done trimming out our small blocks. And they're so cute. I don't know, this might be my favorite trim. I like this one. What do you think? I don't know, they're all good. I think every time I work on one, I'm like, that's my favorite, that's my favorite. But right now, this one's my favorite. Maybe because it was the easiest one. So there we go, there's all my trimmed out small block units with the flying geese. Well, again, congratulations. This is like quite the feat that we're this far. So now we only have the medium and large blocks to do, and then we put the whole quilt together. It's so exciting. It's so exciting, I just can hardly stand it. But anyway, I had fun doing this block, and if you are working on this, or if you want to keep watching me finish this quilt, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you'll get notified when I put out new videos. And you can get to see me finish this one. And I would love to see your blocks, so you know, you can head over to my Facebook page and post your blocks on in the comments of my Facebook post. I would love to see them. But anyway, like I said, I had fun making this block, I had fun making this video, and I'll see you in the next one.